Just to make sure that hit you before, but it came back on. Oh, there we go. All right, good morning, committee members and other parties of interest. This evaluation committee meeting and possible scoring for requests for proposals RFP-25-00033 fully insured disability benefits for the Human Resources Department is being held by means of communications media technology. Provisions have been made for members of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. Public attendees must remain on mute and cameras off. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be made available as soon as possible after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect and shall end on the earlier of 5 business days after the county posts its notice of intent to award the contract associated with this solicitation, or on the date the procurement solicitation is canceled by the county. All questions, comments, and concerns must be directed to my attention and my attention only. As a matter of housekeeping for the technical advisors and observers in attendance via communications media technology, please mute your audio unless speaking and turn your cameras off if needed. If you called in, do not put the call on hold. My name is Sakina Ford and I'm the chief buyer for this project. And again, for the record, this is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. So at this time, I'm going to ask each of the committee members to go ahead and introduce themselves for the record, beginning with our committee chair, Tom Fessler.
Fessler, I'm the county chief financial administrator.
Terry Arias, I'm the lead account manager.
Kevin Brickey, Director of Management and Budget.
Donald Stark, Senior Functional Business Analyst, Enterprise Solutions and Quality Assurance.
Thomas Johnston, HR Partner for Occupational Health and Leave.
Okay, and then I will go ahead and have the technical advisors in the room also introduce themselves.
Nicole Ivetsky, the Baldwin Group. Jamie Lowe, the Baldwin Group.
Paul Almeida, Human Resources Contracts Manager.
Okay, and then also online, we have a couple of observers and another technical advisor.
Christy Alessino, Procurement Operations Coordinator.
Rosemary.
Sorry, Rosemary Kissel. I'm a business partner with Human Resources, working with the occupational health and the leave management area.
Okay, thank you so much. Terry, I'm just going to ask you to try to remember to keep your voice up a little bit because it's having a hard time picking you up. So if you don't mind. All right, so for the record, we did have 3 proposals for this solicitation. Those proposals were from MetLife, OCHS, Inc. on behalf of Madison National Life, and the Standard. The committee is going to evaluate, discuss, score by consensus the 3 responses submitted. Each proposal is to be evaluated based on the information provided in the response as it correlates with the requirements of the criteria as set forth in the solicitation. The responses are going to be scored based on the following criteria. Criteria 1 is the pricing and discounts with the monthly premium rates proposed. 2 is the proposer's understanding of the scope and objectives, the technical approach, and work plan presented. That includes design match, design enhancements, questionnaire responses, provider network, rate guarantees and max caps, deviations and exclusions, interface capabilities, reporting capabilities, and billing. Criteria 3 is the proposer's organization qualifications and experience. That's the general information, experience, qualifications, and client references. And then criteria 4 is the DWBE bonus points, which is scored by economic development, and I will provide that at the end. So the evaluation committee chair, Tom, I'm going to let you lead the discussions for the evaluation and scoring. After each of the categories is discussed, please state the final consensus scoring and agreed upon so that I can record that in the spreadsheet. At the conclusion of the meeting, I will verify all the scores to the committee and then provide that final scoring. And with that, Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you. And just one thing, we do have Rosemary on online as a technical advisor who was tasked with doing your reference checks. So if you want to do that first, or you want to do that when you get to the qualifications, I'm going to leave that up to the committee, but she is available to present those findings when you're ready.
Okay. I guess I would ask her to go ahead and present those then.
Want to do those first?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rosemary, we're going to go ahead and let you present your findings on the reference checks.
Okay, that would be fine. I don't know if you have a screen. Do you want me to share my screen or is this just verbal?
Just verbal.
Okay. So overall, for each of the providers that we had reached out to, asked based on the RFP to provide references, each one of them provided 5 references. That would be, of course, MetLife, OCHS, and the Standard. We put out a questionnaire reference to all of the providers that they sent to us. So all in all, we sent out 15, and in the end, we received back approximately, let's see, we got 9 of them came back. Our questionnaire that we gave them for references covered the experience and the years of experience that they had with each of the providers. What was the size of their organization? The implementation, we asked questions around that, which I'll go into a little more detail, as well as contract compliance, rating them on communication and responsiveness, and the overall quality and the knowledge and performance of the provider. So when it came to references, under MetLife, we received one response from the 5 that were given to us, and that was from Health First, Inc. They had experience with MetLife 4 to 6 years, and the size of their organization was 5,000 to 10,000 people. Under the implementation aspect, I suppose I would like to let you know what our criteria was before I tell you what the ratings are for everybody. Under implementation, we did ask if the carrier followed through on the promises made in the proposal, the addendum, and subsequent discussions and negotiations. We also asked if the carrier provided adequate support and staffing during implementation, such as meetings, telephonic support, and member communication. We asked if the plan designs were loaded in the carrier system correctly, and if the any employees were denied or their benefits delayed due to systems error in setup. Under the criteria of contract compliance, we asked if there were significant issues where employees applied for benefits beginning at the end of the contract. We asked if claims were processed and approved within the proposed timeframes. And we asked if the carrier responded to challenges in good faith and resolved problems. In the category of communication and responsiveness, we asked the carriers if the carrier's level of satisfaction with their customer service and responsiveness to their employees. We wanted to know their satisfaction with the carrier's communication, accessibility, and responsiveness of their staff serving the organization as a whole. And we asked them to rate the carrier's communication, the accessibility, responsiveness of their staff servicing their organization. Lastly, under quality, knowledge, and performance, we wanted to know how they rated the carrier in quality, knowledge, and performance, as well as overall, all things considered, were they satisfied with the carrier? So going on the first one that we have with MetLife, it was a reference that came from Health First. As I mentioned earlier, their experience with them was 4 to 6 years. And the population was 5,000 to 10,000 employees. The implementation, they rated as yes. They were very pleased with that. Same thing with contract compliance. When we asked about communication and responsiveness, they rated them as exceptional. And that was on a 5-point scale, exceptional being the highest. The quality, knowledge, and performance, the same. The rating that they gave was exceptional. And their overall remarks were that it was exceptional, excellent account manager and team. Due to the partnership of the disability program, we have decided to move additional lines of business to MetLife over the last 3 years, including our EAP services as of 1/1 this year. We are very pleased with the services, and the cost was aligned with where we need to be as an organization. The second bidder that we're looking at is OCHS. Now, it needs to be noted that of the 5 references that we received, there were no entities that were giving us STD coverage. So from the responses, what we see from OCHS, these companies were contracted with them for life and LTD. So I do want to go over what the ratings were, making note of that in particular. So no experience with the STD. There were 4 responses out of the 5 for OCHS. The first one was the city of Coral Springs. They are contracted with the carrier for life and LTD. Their experience is 4 to 6 years, and it covers 1,000 to 3,000 employees. They felt the implementation was very satisfactory, as well as the contract compliance. In rating communication and responsiveness on a scale of 1 to 5, they rated them as outstanding, which was 4. The quality, knowledge, and performance, the same. Their overall satisfaction with OCHS was outstanding. The second reference that we received was from the city of Fort Myers. They indicated that they were not contracted with OCHS. They made a note that they are with US Able, so we do not have a rating on them for this carrier. The next reference we received from OCHS that they provided was with Monroe County. Again, that was for life insurance, but therefore they did not rate them on any of the questions that we had asked them. The fourth one that we did receive did respond with a reference, and that was Okaloosa County, BCC. And OCHS does their life and LTD. The experience for them has been 1 to 3 years, and they have 1,000 to 3,000 employees. They felt the implementation was very satisfactory. Again, yes, they on contract compliance, they were pleased with that. Under communication and responsiveness, they rated OCHS as outstanding, which was 4 on that scale. The quality, knowledge, and performance was also outstanding. So their overall satisfaction with OCHS was considered outstanding, and they gave us some remarks. And the remarks that we received were this: I just want to reiterate the quality of service I have had from OCHS. Any email I have ever sent has been responded to within 24 hours. They have always provided on-site support for our open enrollment events. Employees have expressed the quick contact they receive after a claim is filed. I would recommend this company to anybody. The third carrier that we asked for references on, of course, were the standard. Out of the 5 that were provided to us, 3 responded. The first company to respond was the city of Dallas. Their experience with the standard is 10 years plus. And the population size is 10,000 employees. They felt that the implementation went very well. They were very satisfied, as well as the contract compliance. Under the communication and responsiveness of the carrier, they rated them as outstanding, which was at level 4. Quality, knowledge, and performance was also outstanding. And the overall satisfaction that they rated the standard was outstanding. The next reference for the standard was the city of Orlando. The experience with them was 4 to 6 years. The employee population, 3,000 to 5,000 in size. They, again, very satisfied with the implementation and contract compliance. They rated communication and responsiveness as outstanding, level 4, and quality, knowledge, and performance as outstanding. Their overall satisfaction with the standard was rated as outstanding, and they provided some remarks. They said the standard is a great carrier. We have had a positive, valued, and successful partnership with them. The last reference we received for the standard was the County of Santa Clara. Their experience with the standard was 7 to 10 years. Their employee population, 5,000 to 10,000 employees. They were very pleased with the implementation as well as contract compliance. The communication and responsiveness was rated as outstanding, as well as the quality, knowledge, and performance was listed as outstanding. Overall satisfaction with the standard was rated as outstanding. And their comment to us was, the county contracts to provide on-site specialist who is very knowledgeable and provides excellent customer service to employees. Having an on-site specialist has reduced our workload and involvement in helping employees with the claim process. That is conclusion of the reference list that we have.
Thank you, Rosemary. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the committee again to begin your discussion and evaluation.
Anybody have any comments on any given area or having a recommendation on a score for any given area?
Sorry, say
Can
that
I
again.
ask a question on scoring on price?
Sure.
So obviously the one with the lowest cost is can be assigned the 50 points. But as far as evaluating the other point system for the dollar amount that we received, how do we figure out what the percentages should be? And I know that with the standard provided rate guarantees, the other two did not provide a rate guarantee, so we just rate them on the 3 years of the price guarantee for the 3 years, and not include the rate guarantee in the pricing, and just put that in the second.
Yeah, the rate guarantee is under the technical piece. So I think the pricing one is just that initial 3-year period, the pricing that we should do there for that to make a name. I would think that correct.
The criteria 1 is your pricing and discounts, which is that monthly premium rate proposed. So that is on that initial rate proposed. Your rate guarantees and max caps would be in the technical. But because of all the factors that played into the pricing and discounts, it wasn't something that could be formulated in a score. So it's going to be determined by the committee on how you determine is the best way to score based on that initial pricing and discounts.
Okay. So
And again, just make sure you're speaking up because they're having a hard time hearing you online, so.
So that was the question, because in previous ones, there was a formula that we would use. This one, we're not able because of the currencies. So we would, as a team, would have to agree on how we're going to be
Yes,
scoring. That's all.
I can throw mine out.
Okay.
I mean, I just looked at it as, the lowest one got to 50. And the others were, one was about 4% higher, one was about 9 or 10% higher, so I just did it that way. So I said 50 for the standard, 48 for OCHS, and 45 for MetLife. So MetLife's was about 10% higher. Then 10% of 50 is 5, so that's why it's 45. And OCHS was somewhere around 4-ish%, and that's where the 48 comes from.
That seems like a reasonable criteria to me.
No, that's okay. That's what I was thinking. So, but I just wanted to see if we, is it just on the 3 years? And we decided what there was any of.
I kind of did exactly what Kevin did. So I was thinking, my scores would have been basically the same. That was before we spoke up.
Standard 50, MetLife 45, OCHS 48. That's what I.
Does the rest of the committee agree on that?
So the technical piece, that's 45.
Technical piece, yes, correct. Your proposer's understanding of the scope and objectives, technical approach and work plan presented. That is 45 points allowed. Okay, and everybody did confirm the 50 for standard, 48 for OCHS, and MetLife at 45.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The biggest thing that I see is the rate guarantee that was provided. With our experience being higher and higher, and what we do, I guess there was an exhibit that was presented to showing that we were running higher than what their premiums are, right? So we know, we continue that, we know what we can expect with the standard. We have the rate guarantee for, what I saw was years 4 and 5. That's where the 7% was. It wasn't 7% for year 4 and another 7% for year 5. It was 7 for those 2 years combined. The way that to me, it was like a 2-year.
No, it was 7-year for each. We did talk about that in the,
Yeah.
oh, was that your question? They're saying the 7.
The way that it appeared in the pricing structure was that it's 7% for both of those years. But at least it's a 7% guarantee, and then even with the 9% for the rest of those 5 years, without a rate guarantee, it could be enormous amount of increase. Even if we, like with the 19% that you talked about, yeah, it was subject to that. And again, we can negotiate those rates. But again, if our experience is that high, then we have to accept that. So the other thing is a budgeting perspective over this time. How do we know if we was worse, that was 70% each of those years to a 9% each of those years. We know what our budget could potentially be. But if we, how would we budget? And so with our experience, it would just be an enormous cost. Everything is the data feed for LCHS. We have a team of 4, and to have to go back and provide all that data to them if we can provide them with that feed. For busy people, to be there are things that we do have to follow up, because obviously things do happen, but to not have a data feed with the vendor. Issue. The issue is what I do like is the good thing with the standard is that they do have the different examiners on the claim. So short-term disability is evaluated by another person. So it's just not. It's to get another set of things. I'm not those two. The big thing is the not providing the W-2s. So that would be throwing back down to payroll to provide that service right now. The state is doing that. The other two vendors would not be able to provide the W-2 statements to the employees. And that's payrolls of the one too. Discrepancy reports, which I know. She could probably say that. Function of offsetting and third-party settlements. And then if you have the reduced customer service lines. And then it's not being able to provide a reason for the announcement.
Can you make it clear which vendors you're talking about
Yes.
when you do that? And again, keeping within that category, but just a little bit louder for us. Thank you.
Terry, also keep in mind when you're providing comments, we want to talk about what category we're in. So pricing guarantees, rate guarantees have to do with the score for pricing. So if we're going to talk about rate guarantees, that would have to do with your score on pricing.
Actually,
That would
the rate,
impact.
the rate guarantees and max caps were part of the criteria too.
Okay. And then when we're talking about qualifications, we would keep that in that category, et cetera. So,
Yes, so what I was mentioning for OH in the technical, no rate cap guarantee. The data feed, our data feed does not feed into the proposers. So that would fall back on our team to provide the data. They're not able to provide the schedule discrepancy report, log, or notifications. And they would not be able to provide us with a direct customer service contact team, but there's no one person that we would be able to reach out to. And they don't provide a reason for the claim reporting. And the big one is they don't provide the W-2 statements, and they do not pay the FICA for the first 6 months. Transition from short-term to long-term would not occur in the 5th month. And reduce customer service lines. MetLife. Oh, and the other big thing with OCHS was the references too, because they
References are in a different category.
yeah, okay, so. Okay, MetLife, again, no rate guarantee. So again, that could be enormous. For the county, we have to pay the additional premiums for all those years. They do not provide W-2 statements to all the claimants. They do not pay the FICA for the first 6 months. They do not evaluate the STD claims on a monthly basis. With the standard, they do have a 10-year rate guarantee. They do not have direct deposit on the STD claims, which is something to mention. They do have the claims examiners, like I said, the short-term to the long-term disability, two different examiners. And also with the standard, they do not outsource or subcontract any of it. So another company.
I'll sound a bit like a broken record because I'll be reiterating, eliminating the same things that Terry has already said, but starting with the standard, it is a little disappointing that in this day and age, we can't have direct deposits on short-term disability. But outside of that, I think having different claims examiners for short-term and long-term disability is good because of an additional level of oversight. I like that they have a integration. I mean, to not carry an interface in this day and age, again, that's gonna put a lot more work on the Terry's team. This is demographic enrollment information. It cuts down a lot on the back and forth. So I do appreciate that the standard offers that. And also, as Terry mentioned, that rate guarantee, that's a big deal. I mean, the county will be able to forecast, for the next 10 years, what our costs are gonna be. And since it's cost per $100 of payroll for the rates, as the county, gets increases or we have contractual increases for IFF or for ASME, we can take those into account and easily be able to budget what it's going to cost us. And if we do continue to have years where we're upside down or have a higher loss ratio, again, at least we're capped on the level of impact that we can have for that. And we're able to be a good years and we're able to negotiate it down. I think that the rate guarantee is a very big deal and a good offer. For MetLife, pros for me, again, they have an integration for cutting down on the work. The note to the W-2s, no to the FICA, as Terry already mentioned, that's more work for payroll. We're gonna have to figure out how to incorporate those pieces in on a regular basis. The other items that they replied no to, from a integration perspective, they would be nices, but, not terribly surprised to see no's on those. For OCHS, I think the thing that stood out to me most was that it's basically they're acting as a third party, so there's not going to be direct communication with those who are reviewing the claims, and that makes me personally uncomfortable. I also no integration again in this day and age. That's going to put a lot of work back onto Terry's team. That's all I have to add to the conversation for now.
Well, gonna sound like a broken record, but just to highlight some of my thoughts on the standard. Providing the W-2 is a huge plus. Not them having a designated contact is huge. We utilize that on a day-to-day basis. The rate guarantee is a big plus. Protecting the county as far as exposure and being able to budget that is huge. Their workplace possibilities is we have a designated contact for that, and it's a program that we use to keep people either at work or to return them back to work. And I know the other proposers indicated they would allocate 25,000 towards that type of program, but not knowing what that looks like is a question mark. The only con really I noted on the standard is the no direct deposit for the short-term disability. As far as OCH goes, some of the cons to reiterate is the no W-2s, the interface, again, for the small team of trying to ensure all that information is correct, that the county put a huge strain on the county. The no designated claims contact to try to resolve any issues is important to have one, and not be able to provide that as a concern. The limited hours of customer service, that's something I noted also. For MetLife, the no W-2, no FICA. What I did like is that they have similar references as far as size goes. So that was a plus for me, is knowing that they can handle that.
Yeah, references will be
Oh, I'm sorry.
part of
Sorry.
category 3.
Anybody want to put any score now?
That's what I was thinking. I value the rate cap, and I value the other details that the three of you have talked about. Which kind of goes along with perhaps me looking at a little bit of a higher altitude, so I appreciate your guys' lower altitude. So, yeah, there's some scores out.
Wants to throw their scores out first.
Awesome out. 43 for the standard. 39 for MetLife. And 33 for OCHS.
I can go with that. I had 44, 39, 34, so. Yeah,
I'm really low. Only because of the potential workload on our department. So I had 43 for the standard. Again, because of the servicing and the 10-year rate guarantee. 25 to 30 from that line, only because of the increased workload on the other departments. Like with the payroll, and like we stated, we have to figure out how to put payroll to a lot of payroll functions have now come over to our section. So we'd be responsible for it, and then I think between 15 and 20 before OCH, because again, the data fee and the increased workload.
I had the standard at 43, MetLife at 38, and Rich at 33. The numbers I
had standard at 42, MetLife at 35, was the HS at 28. Maybe it looks like the range from the standard is 42 to 44. Right here at 43.
I agree with those.
Is that something everybody can agree on?
Yes.
Tom. Sorry. Terry. I wasn't sure if I,
Yes.
okay, perfect.
And it looks like the range on MetLife is 35 to 39 with 2 39s and a 38. Well, I'm sorry, Terry was at 25 to 30. Is there a number somebody thinks we can agree on that?
35.
35.
I'm good.
30.
I'll agree, 35. Everybody agrees on 35 for MetLife.
And then OCHS. Terry had a 15 to 20. 28, 2 33s and a 34.
Yes.
Everybody okay with that?
29.
Yes, 29's okay.
And there's what one category 3 is that 5 points.
Moving on to category 3, yes, that is 5 points. That is the organization qualifications, experience, their general information, experience, qualifications, and those client references that were discussed by Rosemary.
The references. Didn't evaluate those because we didn't have any provider that. They did not provide anyone that they carried short-term disability and handled their short-term disability. It was just 2 with long-term. And the other ones were for life, and one did not handle, have any of their services. So, based on that, the availability to evaluate them, I gave them a one. References,
And that one was for who again?
coach,
Okay,
and MetLife, we did, they did provide us 5 references and we received 1 response. And so maybe 4. And then with the references from the standard, they provided 5 and 3 responded on standard. So I gave them.
Good with that.
I agree as well.
I agree.
Okay, so Coach 1, MetLife 4, Standard 5.
And I'm going to confirm your scores. Okay, to confirm the final scores, I am going to go down each carrier as a whole. I will start with MetLife, which was the first one on my list. MetLife, I have the pricing and discount monthly rate premiums proposed, a score of 45. Category 2 was the proposer's understanding of the scope and objectives and the work plan presented for a score of 35. And the proposer's organization qualifications and experience, a score of 4, giving MetLife a total score of 84 for the category 4. Is everybody agreed in that score of 84?
Yeah.
In MetLife?
Yes.
Okay. Then for OCHS, on behalf of Madison Life, I have the pricing and discounts, monthly premiums proposed at 48 points. The category 2, proposers' understanding of the scope and objectives, technical approach, and the work plan presented at 29. The proposer's organization qualifications and experience at a score of 1, for a total score of 78 for OCHS on behalf of Madison Life. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the standard, I have the pricing and discounts for the rates proposed at a score of 50. The understanding of the scope and objectives, technical approach, and work plan at a score of 43. And the organization's qualifications and experience at a score of 5, giving the standard a total score of 98. Is that agreed?
Yes.
Okay, and to let you guys know on the category 4, which was the DWBE bonus points, there were no requests for bonus points for any of the 3 providers. So that was not necessary to be reviewed by economic development, and that gives them all 0 for that. So I do have a total consensus score of MetLife at 84, OCHS Inc. on behalf of Madison Life at 78, and the standard at a total score of 98. Everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I will go ahead and consider these scores finalized, and we will go ahead and close out this meeting. I am going to be printing out a final scoring sheet for the committee to sign before you leave, and that way we already have that. So I just want to let you know that. Give me just a minute to close out the recording and get that done and sign before you go, please. Otherwise, I'll consider this meeting complete, and thank you all for attending. Thank you to our technical advisors as well as our committee members for the work on this outside of your normal everyday duties. We appreciate all of that. Thank you so much.